It's like
It's
just
craziness.
playing Sonic 06.
No, don't blaspheme Sonic. Not at the beginning of a stream. What are you doing?
Don't worry, they can't hear us. Oh boy.
Oh, I should have thought of that. Are we sure my mic and everything's gonna work this time?
Yeah, I haven't changed the settings since last. If they can't hear you, we'll double check it at the beginning.
Okay. Just waiting on the stream to start. Alright, something's happening. Okay, I think you are broadcasting, sir.
Hello, can you guys hear us?
Yeah, we're gonna wait to do anything until we know that you can hear both of us. So, someone in the comments say, we can hear both of you. Well, hello there, says the anime noob.
But can you hear both of us? Is the real
Yeah. I know, right? That's the important thing. Not get 10 minutes into the stream and find out, oh yeah, we can't hear shit.
Uh-huh.
Oh, we almost need to like appoint someone.
To be our... You are heard.
You are... Okay.
Beautiful.
Yay! Oh.
Alright then, I'm gonna close that and focus on that. So, Ian, you are now my eyes.
Okay. Alrighty, so hi everyone, welcome to another stream. We got Plus Ultraman here, we got Anime Spiritor, we got Gianni Perez, who else? Superman's in the chat, that's cool.
Superman's on screen as well, so there's all... It works out.
Oh. Yay, and we're getting all these we can hear you both. Cool, thank you so much.
Beautiful.
Sorry guys, there's always a delay, so it's just hard to tell.
We just want to make sure that we've got everything on board before we actually deep dive. But yeah, as you can tell from the thumbnail, we're going to be drawing, well, I'm going to be drawing something for an upcoming What If. No release date on it as yet. I'm pretty about halfway through on the script, and it's a shorter one shot, so it should be out relatively soon. And that is going to be our first RWBY What If. What if Superman was in RWBY? I'm not going to be giving any plot details for it because I'm very excited for how this one turns out. This will be... All I'll say is you'll be able to watch this, and if you like it, you'll be able to fit it perfectly into RWBY canon. There is nothing in here that contradicts the main story. You can watch this and then watch the series, and it fits like just as if it was a one-shot story. There is no changes here, nothing that you have to think, oh, well, that couldn't have happened, like, etc, etc. With all our what-ifs, we do try and like to make them, first of all, accessible for people who don't watch those shows, but at the same time, if you do watch the shows, you can fold it neatly into your own headcanon. This isn't going to be a alternative universe. This will be how I've imagined Superman actually trying to fit into the lore without changing anything. Quite a task, but I believe I am up to the challenge. So I'm going to be drawing his design in that, and while I'm doing that, my good friend Sid Part 2.
Hello.
As you've no doubt been beautifully introduced by now, we'll be answering any what-if questions you have in the chat, or just general questions. I'm going to be hanging out here for a couple hours, etc. So yeah, that's the long and short of it.
Yep, super fun. You're just talking about that, and that is probably my favorite thing to do with these what-ifs when we can, is try to find a way that, like, works for one or at least both characters. Like the Zoro and Kenshin one I really love because it fits perfectly for both stories. And then the Frieza and Xenomorphs video I really like because it fits perfectly in Dragon Ball, and the Xenomorphs you can just put them freaking anywhere and they're just work. Xenomorphs in My Little Pony.
Oh my god. I wouldn't be surprised if there's art of that, honestly.
I mean,
for better or for worse.
You're probably right. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna be going to chat. Sometimes I've tried to go through and like make sure every single person gets answered, but then I end up really far behind. So I think what I'm gonna do is just try to answer the newest question every time and try to make sure I'm not repeating anybody too terribly often. And we'll see how that goes in the chat. Trenton Brown says, "Didn't know you guys were. What made you decide to do this what if one shot?"
Well, I actually wasn't until quite recently. Actually, Sarah, Paper Warrior, the voice of Wonder Woman, and my girlfriend become a big RWBY fan, And so I was just watching it with her and decided, because a lot of you guys are like, from the comments we've had, are RWBY fans, I thought, well, why not? I've learned, I'm not completed with the series, so this won't be like fully exhausted. I'm up to about the 5th volume. So actually, please don't put any spoiler questions in the chat if you could. But it's roughly sat in between volumes 3 and 4 in a nice little comfortable space where I know nothing will contradict. And Sarah, who has watched the whole series, has like been able to inform me like what won't contradict, stuff like that. So yeah, I just thought it was fun. I like the world. I'm very just super supportive of like the story behind it. I know sadly the creator Monty passed away, but his story of just making the whole thing himself really inspired me, because that's what we're doing here as well. So yeah, wanted to show some love to that series, and always wanted to I've been working on trying to get a Superman What If on here as my favorite character, despite DBDC being the one thing that takes Superman out of it. So I thought him deserving some love was well overdue. So yeah, that's about it.
Oh, cool. Let's see here. Pepe Joe says Dragon Ball characters in My Hero Academia. Man, everybody loves My Hero Academia.
They really do.
No hate on it. Neither of us have watched it, so we don't really have anything to say about it. As far as the RWBY question from earlier, I guess I should have answered. I've actually not watched RWBY. My wife has watched a couple episodes. I've seen like kind of it going on in the background. I like the animation to a degree. It's a little like, it's, I guess the kind thing to say is it is very efficient in what it knows it wants to animate well, and kind of just makes everything else work as best it can. But I didn't have the context of knowing it was all just one guy for a good chunk of it, so that is actually pretty cool. I'm for those that don't know, I'm actually really into 3D modeling and stuff, or not really into it. It is something I enjoy. So it's kind of cool to see that 3D modeling, 3D animation. Maybe we should do one of these art streams of me doing some model work or something. But then
yeah, that'd be awesome.
Just getting like fucking pissed off and trying to work around my
oh, don't worry, that'll happen the exact same thing here in Clip Studio, because of the RWBY art style is different than Dragon Ball. I'm gonna have to paint this one, so once we get to that point, if we do, I'm just doing the main line work, brush work here at the moment. Once we get to that point, I will be in your position of anger from the mouth.
Not Just a Manson says, what if Lady Shiva and Goku gets caught doing the haha?
Wow, I envy. Goku just looks surprised as Shiva ends the life of whatever poor soul decided to witness her without her permission. That's that. I'm so, like, no matter who it is, it could be fucking Thanos, and it's over.
Oh my. Oh. Alrighty, let's see here. Oh. lots of stuff. Alright, let's scroll up a little bit. Here's some questions about the RWBY What If, but you said you didn't want to do spoilers on that, so we won't be answering too many questions about it. Dang, now I can't find one. What if the symbiote was in the Saiyan Saga? By Thaddeus Bone.
No, I mean, who would you want it to go on here?
Man, we're assuming the Venom symbiote, right?
Yes, just bog standard.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, when we were talking about it in a previous stream, we kind of thought that like Carnage would be a cool host for Cell, and Venom would be a cool host for Gohan, or other way around. You know what I mean? So I guess just to bake the symbiotes in longer, Gohan gets the symbiote during the Saiyan Saga?
To fully merge your thing.
Yeah, there we go. So there's that timeline slowly coming together. Oh. How about you? What do you think? What does symbiote be like in the Saiyan Saga?
It could be a cool way if you wanted to make it a say it's just tricky to figure out where it ends up. Like it could come one of two ways. Either the Saiyans have brought it with them because, like the Cybermen, they've just kind of picked up in their journeys to use as like a last resort. I don't think Vegeta would ever do it, but I could probably see Nappa. He's dumb enough to think he could control it, and then Goku has to fight a Venomized Nappa. Could be a cool scene. He's kind of got the Brock physique, but even bigger.
Yeah.
If you wanted to have it be on Earth, it could be a cool thing if, like, during their training of the Earth fighters, one of them finds the meteor where it lands or something, and uses it to try and close the gap. And so maybe like Tien or something. Yeah. So then Tien tries to control it, and to be honest, I think he could. Flash Thompson has shown that if you're not mentally like damaged or overridden by like easy vices, you can control the symbiotes quite well. It's just because Brock was so messed up, Peter was so guilt-ridden, Cletus Cassidy, that the symbiotes kind of take control for the large part. But like someone as dedicated and focused as Tien could totally rein it in. So if you want to do that, could give Tiana the edge he needs to stand up to Nappa a little better. I don't know if he could beat him, but because I think Ki Blast Fire might end up being a detriment against it, but it could certainly be a new wrinkle to add to the saga.
Yeah, see, that's the thing I think about with symbiotes in Dragon Ball. Like, someone in the Discord the other day, I don't know if they said it or if it just something they said spawned it in my mind, but like, just artistically, something that would be frickin' awesome would be Kid Buu with a symbiote. Like, just I say that and I can just imagine the design in my of how cool that could look. But I think the problem just becomes that, like, from what I know of symbiotes, I understand that Donny Cates has been doing some crazy stuff in the comics recently, but from what I understand of symbiotes, it's just the power is like completely useless at that point. Like on that scale, they're just completely outclassed.
I mean, yeah, but I think it depends. Originally, like there's the big misconception, right, of like Spider-Man originally in the comics didn't even get a power boost from Venom. It just made him. It didn't even make him feel any better. It was just he kept it because it was handy. Like the fact that it could. He didn't have to change, the fact that it could self-repair and everything. Those were the advantages, and it was mostly just disadvantage of it, like controlling his body at night. The thing that really added the idea of it like corrupting him and like making him stronger was the 90s show. That was the big thing, and then it's kind of leaked its way into the comics. I think for the better, but even that established.
Oh my god, Alfie just complimented the 90s show.
I mean, yeah, the Venom stuff in that was quite good. The main thing from that was it was always kind of a multiplier, right? Like it multiplied Brock's strength equivalent to how jacked he got, and that's why Black Suit Spider-Man was stronger than Venom, because it multiplied Peter's strength. And in the comics, like if the Hulk wears it, he gets a bigger boost than Captain America would. So I think it still tracks, but the problem is the later you go, like say it's like a 10 times multiplier or something, right? Well, again, it gets irrelevant the moment you get Super Saiyan.
Right? Like, it's just, I don't know. So that's the thing is if you put like the scaling to it, I'm just like, how much could it possibly help? Because, I don't know, like the shape-shifty kind of thing, it's just, the problem is it just like, Dragon Ball's got so much stuff that like kind of performs that already, you know? That's my one like kind of trepidation with it, is there's so much going on in that universe already that like, what does the Venom symbiote add besides just cool aesthetics, which may very well be enough, you know?
Because like, what does Trunks' sword add but just cool aesthetic?
Yeah, that's totally fair. So I don't know, it's one of those things where like saying it is awesome. I don't know. I think about that one a lot. Ever since someone brought it up in another stream or whatever, I'm like, man, that is a cool one, but I just don't know like how much of a story is there as opposed to just how many cool visualizations. Because like like there are certain characters that like they have a shtick that conceivably anyone could get, and they're fine and cool on their own. But like, what's awesome is just all right, so what if this character got their shtick? So like Venom's like that, Ghost Rider's like that, like that. Like, yeah, Green Lantern's cool and all, but you know what's really cool? Batman with the Green Lantern ring. And I think Venom's definitely like that, because just, Venom's cool and all, but you know what's really cool? Deadpool with the Venom symbiote.
The Silver Surfer's really cool. You know what's cool? Everyone else becoming a herald.
Yeah, like that kind of like shtick thing is just a fun dynamic, and so really, like, if we're talking symbiotes in Dragon Ball, I mainly just want to see it. I mainly just want like someone like Sir Bisa. Probably not because he's overworked, but I would kind of want to just see someone like Sir Bisa do like symbiotes on Dragon Ball characters and just go crazy with designs and stuff. That'd be dope.
Just as like cool images rather than needing a narrative behind them.
Yeah, right. The Todd McFarlane.
Fitting for Venom.
Doesn't the symbiote maintain the power of their previous host, or am I making that up? It says
it transferred the powers of Spider-Man because it can mimic them, but Venom has been on every character in the Marvel universe, and Eddie Brock's not fucking shooting shooting like energy blasts. So I think it just, the fact that it was Spider-Man, it's just he was a really compatible host. The fact that the symbiote could make webbing and the symbiote can stick to walls and everything, but it's not like copying his spider sense.
There's a little debate about whether or not that's the case, given the current comics of like Absolute Carnage and stuff. So
yeah, but like again, he's not copying their powers. He's just got the codex of them. Like when Carnage collects all the symbiotes, he doesn't get Wolverine claws. He just gets stronger.
Okay. So could you imagine what would happen if the two brothers met Darkseid, or what if he was interested on Remnant because of Superman? It says Blake. Ooh, sorry, Blake. I'm just gonna go with Blake.
Not really. Again, that RWBY stuff was just something I just learned from the events that I've watched, and it's left kind of vague, so I can't say much about it. All I'll definitely say is, like, if this was like DC Comics fully crossing over, then RWBY's just fucking like done. That verse just does not. They're like fighting and breaking buildings, and like it's like like it's just unfair to throw fucking Darkseid in there, even against like the godly powers. It's just like it's not gonna be Darkseid. So yeah. Oh god, can we please try not to explain Darkseid again? Yeah, let's not.
Yeah. Anime King says, what if Deku had a Venom suit? Oh man, this just can become the symbiote stream.
This is your fault. You've enhanced them. They want more.
I know. I don't know, like, let's kind of use that and go a little bit broad. What anime characters would be good like symbiote hosts? Like where would the symbiote actually be like a really cool thing for fit, not only for a visual cool thing but also for series? Because I think Shishio from Rurouni Kenshin would be like a freaking awesome Carnage host.
Yeah, that could be dope. That could be really, really dope. I like imagine it on like the sword. Like the bandages become tendrils.
I know, right? And like Carnage already shit just from his goop. I don't know what to call it.
Just goop, I think was a good indicator there.
Yeah, so I don't know, that'd be cool. And like I think he definitely Symbiote Superman.
I mean, it happened in the 90s.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Venom fought Superman and Venom won. And then, like, it was the 90s. Venom was really popular. We don't like to talk about it.
I don't know. I've not read this comic.
Superman would immediately be fine with it, and he'd try and find a home. Like, there would be no cool epic fight from Symbiote Superman. he'd just be very kind, and it would probably appreciate not having someone wanting to rip it off immediately. He'd be like, "Oh, buddy, you're really angry, aren't you?" And he's like, "Wow, you're really nice."
Oh god, the Venom voice that's now just the Rogolzar voice.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, the Jurassic Show says, I feel it would be appropriate if you gave him a sword-type weapon as a reference to the sword of Superman, but also as a nod to Mr. Majestic.
No, Superman doesn't use weapons.
Alright, well, thanks for the £4.99 super chat anyway.
No, that was a super chat. Oh, damn it.
Yeah, they just fucking shut it down and you're like, fuck your weapons. Superman doesn't need a weapon. Superman doesn't carry a sword, except for aesthetics.
Yeah, I mean, the Sword of Superman thing is one of, like, Magin's least... Like, Magin's a fucking all-time Superman writer, but, like, that is just one of the things I'm just like, yeah, you really need a universal Excalibur that only is destined for Superman. Like, he's Superman. He's already pretty great. Like, I think the moment you give Superman any form of weapon, you just immediately ask the question of why he needs it when he's got his fists. Superman is Bruce Lee, right? You don't get... Bruce Lee brought the nunchucks mainly for aesthetics. He didn't need them.
What kind of weapon would Superman use? If Superman was trained with something, what kind of weapon would he use? This is me asking questions now. I'm just gonna fucking ignore the chat.
Man, it would have to be...
I think Superman would fit well with, like, a hammer.
No, it would have to be something completely non-lethal. Which is hard to find. But it would have to be something closer to like Captain America, like a shield or something. Like Superman could rock a shield. He did wield Mjolnir and Captain America's shield in the past. So I'm always gonna cheat and say those. Superman gets a weapon, he gets Mjolnir and Captain America's shield, but not one on their own. It has to always be both.
Oh man. And Superman in the chat says Superman has used weapons before. And it's like, yeah, we know, but
I don't. Superman's done a lot of things in the comics that I don't like. Because again, he's Superman. Everything about him is non-lethal. Like he doesn't need a weapon. He's Superman. Like I don't know how else to justify that. It's just like why? It's just like give it. There's a reason why, as cool as it is, Goku doesn't really use the power pole that much. Because he's fucking Goku.
Brass knuckles. That's the weapon Superman would use. He'd put on brass knuckles to hit even harder than he already can.
Now you're going cray.
Fucking like Superman versus Darkseid. Darkseid's like, give up, Kal-El. And Superman just fucking like slips on some brass knuckles, and Darkseid's like, oh shit.
Yeah, it's like, whoa, chill out. I didn't know we were world star right now. God damn.
Oh man, that's funny. Let's see here. Cameron, which RWBY character could wield the Green Lantern?
Oh, that I'd imagine Yang. Yang could be the Green Lantern. She fits. She's basically female Hal Jordan in that series. she's super fucking like raring to go for a fight and adventure and all of that. She's got sunglasses. She rides a bike. Like she's 100%. Everyone else in that has like a weapon. Her weapons are just like rocket gloves that make her punches hit harder. So she's 100% the Green Lantern of that show. That's a good question.
Yeah, cool.
I always like doing the fictional universes Lan and Core thing. It's a fun exercise.
Oh, those are super good. I'll wait for oh wait, never mind. Another question just came in, so might go back to that one. Streamer255 says, "What if Batman was in the Marvel universe?"
Daredevil would be out of a job. I mean, at that point, you've got to ask the question. So, does he go? Is there a Gotham equivalent, or is there not? And I think just for the sake of like doing the DC crossover, there isn't. So Batman probably does have to go in New York or Chicago. Say New York just because it's where he gets to
everyone's in New York.
Yeah, exactly. I think the Kingpin isn't a threat anymore. I think Batman...
Kingpin gets taken down in year one.
Yeah, the Kingpin becomes the Carmine Falcone of year one. except a little longer because Kingpin's not as opposed to. Kingpin's still kind of almost a supervillain, right? Like, cause he's got the whole I'm 100% muscle instead of body fat. So he's got a little advantage on that. He's still he's been trained by ninjas and stuff, but Batman is much more efficient and has got the resources that Matt Murdock just doesn't have, or like the Punisher doesn't have. Oh, that's another thing. The Punisher probably becomes his main villain. the Punisher and Batman would fucking despise everything about each other.
I fucking love the 90s crossover that, or maybe it's early 2000s, that they did with Marvel and DC, where the Justice League ends up on the Marvel Earth, and Batman's like, alright, we need to do reconnaissance. We don't know anything about this world, so you put your ego in check and don't interfere with anything. Just observe. And then they break off in teams and go observe Marvel's New York, and Batman and Plastic Man are together, and they see Punisher, and Batman just beats the shit out of the Punisher, and the Justice League groups back up, and Plastic Man just starts like railing into Batman for being an absolute hypocrite. I'm like, yep, that is top 10 greatest Batman moments.
He's just he would shut that shit down immediately. Frank would think Batman's the ultimate half measure. He'd probably think he's like a pussy, like all of that kind of thing. That Batman would just see this walking embodiment of the gun, and he just not have it. So yeah, Batman would win all of those fights, and the Punisher would just probably go even down a darker path. That could be an interesting dynamic. I already mentioned the Kraven thing. I think Kraven wouldn't bother with Spider-Man. He'd find a much more like-minded opponent in Batman. So he'd probably prefer to hunt Batman because he's not getting joked at the entire time. Spider-Man probably does end up being taken under his wing because like Batman's not going to let this untrained orphan hero run around. So he probably becomes he doesn't become like a sidekick or anything, but he probably like gets trained and sorted out much younger than he did in mainline. But other than that, yeah, Batman basically takes Iron Man's place in the Trinity because Tony Stark everyone in Marvel's a fuck up. That's kind of their appeal, and Tony Stark is only in that Trinity among the God and the Ultimate Man because he has to be, because he's just the default largest personality in the room. But if Batman's there, and Batman can fund everything, like Tony Stark probably becomes a much different character that doesn't learn a lot of those lessons he does, but also doesn't make as nearly big fuck ups to the rest of the universe as Tony does. Like Civil War doesn't happen with Batman and Cap; they just talk it out.
Yeah, I don't know, that's interesting. It'd be like kind of cool to see like Batman's contingencies for the Marvel universe and stuff, and play with like the paranoia of Batman in that universe. I wonder who becomes his main villain.
I mean, the closest you've got to the Joker is Cletus Cassidy.
Yeah, maybe.
But I don't think they have the same. I don't think Cletus is like the Batman Spider-Man comic dived into this, where the Joker just fucking took down Cletus like he was nothing because he thinks so small. So he's got the power, but like Batman could take out Carnage really easily. Like Carnage has got a weakness that everyone can get. It's like Martian Manhunter. He's just fucking fire, and Sonic's like the Batman carries those
for you is a penny for a book of matches.
Yeah, Batman would take out the symbiote super fucking easily. Everyone knows their weaknesses.
Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting one.
Yeah, that one's definitely got a lot on the tank. That is just so much to talk about. It would take up the rest of the stream.
Let's see here. Crossover with Castlevania and Demon Slayer, says Antonio Lamothi.
Well, I'm a big Castlevania fan, but sadly I haven't watched Demon Slayer, so I can't really comment on that, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I don't even know what Demon Slayer is.
It's like I think that was like the latest. Like every year, there's like a hot anime, so you've probably seen it on your timeline at least once, without knowing what it was.
Probably. And I would just be like, I am old. I understand this Japanese anime.
Japanimation.
What's a waifu? Why not have the Joker in the Marvel Universe too? I mean, like, you could, but at a certain point, if you just bring Batman and transplant it into Marvel, you're kind of losing some of the fun of just seeing just Bruce Wayne bounce off the rest of the Marvel Universe, you know?
Mm-hmm. It's why we didn't bring all the other Dragon Ball characters in, because then you're just doing the story again, and just in a different setting, and like, yeah, there's some things you change, but like, at what point aren't you just telling new stories and you're just doing the same one over and over again, right?
Mm-hmm. What if TMNT was in Dragon Ball? Turtles learning ki sounds pretty fucking cool.
Actually. I mean, they probably fit in quite well, especially in Dragon Ball. I think once you get to Z, they probably just to say in the same tier as like Tien and Krillin, where they'd obviously be extremely strong and then probably be far stronger than they would be in mainline, but I can't see any of them getting the same gain. They don't have transformations and stuff, so I don't know how long they'd last outside of that. But yeah, I think they'd be fun. I can totally buy them just living in West City. Like, yeah, why not? They probably would have a very different life though, because they wouldn't have to hide in the sewer. They could just walk out. Like, they'd be fine. Ulan's freaking weirder than the fuck TMNT.
And that's just because he's a pervert.
Exactly.
You know, here's a weird question that I have now. So, for those that don't know, TMNT is like a parody originally of Frank Miller's Daredevil.
Yes.
You know, the foot versus the hand kind of thing. You know, I just wonder, is there an anime property or something that had the same kind of like arc of success that's like a parody of Dragon Ball or just like shonen general kind of things?
Yeah, One
Punch Man?
Yeah,
One Punch Man, I guess, is what would qualify that. Huh.
That's the biggest one. That's just like, what if we did Dragon Ball, but Goku started off as Super Saiyan God in Dragon Ball? And he just went fucking insane from boredom. That's the entire premise of that show. Is just, I think the author's even gone on and say, is just, I've took the end game of a shonen protagonist from like chapter 700 and threw him in chapter 1. Just to see what would he react to. Just the breaking the limits. It's just like, wow, you done it. But now you got to tell your story. It's like, wait, what? No. Help. Like, it's just, that's that whole thing. So yeah, that's the biggest example.
Let's see here. Tevin Daniel says, when is the next DB Norse?
That will be coming out relatively... again, I've been saying soon. It will be coming out. It's just been one of those things where I don't want to... If I'm not currently as invested in it as the rest of the series, I don't want to just like half-ass an episode and like disappoint people who really love that. I've got a really good idea for what the next episode is going to be. Just I need to write that script, get that sent to the voice actors, and then it'll be out. So it won't be too long. I don't feel like it's been abandoned. It will be coming out. Just we've been focusing a lot on DBDC and the Batman teasers and this and etc. So. It will come out.
Primal Mythos says, giving us a £5 super chat. Thank you, sir.
Thank you again.
So your thoughts on what if Dr. Gero created Bender as his first android?
Do you want to take that one, man?
I fucking love Futurama. I will take the shit out of that one. I mean, like, that would kind of explain why he's got such a thing of, like, making sure to control the shit out of them, because Bender's just so, like, off the rails, out of control. Though that doesn't 100% work, because the reason Bender is the way he is in Futurama is because of, like, the light bulb interrupting his programming. To some extent, he was still, like, a criminal, and you still see that robots commit crimes and are just generally bad people in Futurama, to begin with. But regardless of that, like, let's just assume Bender is still Bender for this. I mean, that would explain why Dr. Gero is so like, alright, no, I'm not letting these... They are required to do exactly what I tell them to a T, and no freedom of movement. That would explain how harsh he is and stuff. As far as just, like, I don't know, like, what else do you do with, like, the comedy of that? I think Bender
actually does fit really well into Dragon Ball just as like a gag character.
You could slap a Red Ribbon Army logo on him and throw him in that arc really easily.
Yeah, you probably could. Commander Bender. He doesn't even fit with the freaking name scheme. Friggin' like, oh, what was his name? A ninja.
Murasake.
Yeah, we'll just fucking add a level and it's just Bender and he's just drunk and like burping fire onto Kid Goku and Goku's like burning his tail and shit.
That'd be funny.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure what else I've got for that one. I guess he'd be, if he's his first android, I guess that kind of explains Ader and I don't know, is Commander Metal? Is he a Dr. Gero thing as well?
No, but you can headcanon that. Why not?
I mean, like, it seems silly not to, right? Like, the Red Ribbon Army just had, like, 2 genius robot scientists.
Yeah. And
one of them made a Terminator ripoff, and then the other one is responsible for a Terminator ripoff years later.
Yeah. That's what happened, man. I don't know what to tell you. That's how it went down.
Let's see here. Blake says, you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna let this crap take over. Krypton, a mix of the cartoons and DCU, EU, Brainiac vs. Zod, Jor-El hides the Codex, Sun Kal-El, Zod kills Jor-El, and Brainiac escapes, question mark, exclamation point, ...
Where you go with that?
Yeah.
What the question is there on that one, bud? You want to elaborate?
Trenton Brown says Bender and Launch sitcom. That would be pretty fucking.
Mm-hmm.
That works really well for me. Thoughts on what's her name's master? Sasha Dahuan's master? I think he's it's a he. I think he's probably my favorite of the new Who masters. Yes, better than Sim and Gomez. Jacoby kind of doesn't count, sadly, in my eyes. I love him.
Oh yes, from Jodie's new series. Yeah, he's been great. He's been definitely probably the best part about that. I definitely agree with you. Like, just if we're counting stuff that isn't in the audio dramas, he definitely is the best master from New Who. And I think every single one of them have been great, but like he just brings such a manic energy to it, and he plays off really well. I just wish maybe he had more to do, or I just wish Jodie's doctor was a little stronger to play off against him. Like, he's great, but they don't have nearly the same kind of like either the dynamic that Capaldi had with Missy and like the drama there, or just the pure kind of just rivalry of Sim and Tennant. Like that shit was legendary. Yes.
Alright. Let's see here. Weirdo78 says, what did you guys think about Ultron and Dragon Ball? Sorry if I'm repeating myself, just want to know your opinions. So this was, like, I caught bits and pieces of it in the Discord. I've been kind of crazy, hectic, busy all week, so I haven't had a chance to really catch up on a lot of what's been going on. But just the idea of bringing Ultron into the Dragon Ball universe, I think they were talking about putting him around, like, the Frieza saga? I don't know. I guess he works about as well, because like Ultron's just one of those villains who's kind of always doing the same thing. So I guess any Earth you put him on, he's just going to be doing the same thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
As far as what exactly, I don't know. How would that work?
I mean, he just
Ultron function in Dragon Ball.
I mean, that's the arc you finally get what you want, right? Where Bulma has to save the day, because you can't kill Ultron. You have to kill the internet to kill Ultron, and no one in Dragon Ball is smart enough to do that except apart from Bulma. So Bulma, they probably have a fight, they smash all his body, it's kind of like a meta cooler moment. Maybe that's the main thing, but they've taken him out more and more. Maybe you get a cool scene where like Ultron's brought back from the blueprints every single Dr. Gero creation times infinity, and you get almost like a Super 17 saga, except like there's like 50 cells, there's like armies of Android 18s and 17s and 16s, and they're charging at them. So like Goku has to go blue and Vegeta has to go blue, and they all have to fight them, and they're just doing it, but they're just getting overwhelmed, and then everything just stops, and just turn. Just look at Bulma at computer screen. She's like, "It solved it. I isolated his code, and now he's trapped."
Yeah, I like that idea. I fucking love Bulma. We really do need just a Bulma arc in Dragon Ball, where she can just fucking like get the win, you know? Like as much as I'm a Vegeta fan, and how I'm like, yeah, we really just need to give him the win one time. I'd trade it for a Bulma. I'd trade it for a Bulma arc win. You know what? Fuck it.
Vegeta's wife
take that
needs
risk.
the win before him.
Yeah. Joe Crazy has donated $5 in Super Chat.
Thank you so much.
He says, I think the characters from Watchmen, aside from Dr. Manhattan, could fit into the RWBY universe. I don't understand that one at all.
I'm not with you there, bud. There's not been any erectile dysfunction, rape, vicious, horrible skinnings, or any like dogs that eat children. So no, I'm gonna say no. Actually, I think Dr. Manhattan probably fits more than any of those guys. I think let's just end the whole bringing Watchmen into other things. I think like, as much as Alan Moore can be an old curmudgeon, I do think he's right where it's like these characters were just created for this one story. They don't have legs to stand in other stories. Like, let's be honest about that.
Now I just want to figure out like the most inappropriate place to bring the Watchmen characters. Just like transplant them exactly as what universe can you put them in. That is just the most like, oh god.
I think you have fucking Rorschach try and solve a mystery alongside Dora the Explorer.
Oh god.
Can you tell us where the map is? You're talking to the city, narrating. I can understand that, the vision, the power, but it's an old slut, wasted up and drenched in cum. It won't be able to tell you over the screams. It's 4 is the answer.
Oh man. Let's see here. There was a good one I saw. Okay, if the DC universe were about to enter the tournament of power, who would enter? So if the DC universe was one of the universes in Dragon Ball that entered the tournament of power, which I mean, they certainly could have been like, what is it? Universe 9 and 11 were exempt or something. No, not 11. 2 of the universes were exempt, so you could like headcanon it and say that one of them is the DC universe.
I mean,
and then the other's the Marvel universe.
That means they get like 10, right? 10 members.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to take 5? I take 5.
Okay, yeah. All right, so 5 people that go in. All right, so I'm gonna go for my boy Kyle Rayner.
He's a Dragon Ball character.
Green Lantern. Yeah, I want a Green Lantern on the team. I'm gonna go for Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman would enter a fighting tournament to save her universe, 100%. Man, now it gets hard because I've got my 2 faves out. I'm actually specifically gonna avoid Batman in this, by the way. Let's see here. Who else would be a good fit for the Tournament of Power in DC? I mean, I kind of do want someone who like isn't a powerhouse character, because I thought that was like a cool thing that they brought in like Roshi and such for the main team in Dragon Ball Super. So I kind of want to think of someone who's like that, but not like your obvious go-to Batman. That's harder though. I don't know. You give me a couple. Let me.
Well, I think for me, I'll go with Superman. He wouldn't really want to do it, but the fact that the universe is at stake means, yeah, of course he's going. I'm gonna say the Flash, just because he's not physically strong, but he can become physically, like Barry or Wally. He can become physically strong, and also I imagine he'd be like really fucking good at ring outs, and he'd also be really good at keeping teammates in. I'll then say, I think a good one, which I'll probably steal from you, but you're going to thank me for saying it, will be Zatanna.
Damn it! I was just about to say Zatanna.
Yeah, this is why we're in sync. That can count as one of yours.
Okay, alright.
Zatanna, just because, again, she's that thing. She's not physically strong, but she's absolutely crazy magic-wise. I would also say Lex Luthor.
Oh.
Because unlike Batman, Lex Luthor's power armors actually do normally work against metahumans. Batman's ones normally just let him survive long enough to, like, do shit. Lex actually does normally run around in battle suits pretty regularly. And I also think he's someone who would be like the Fraser of the group, but you'd be able to trust him a little more because he actually wouldn't want his universe gone. So I think Lex would be really good. How about you?
Oh, you know, like I kind of want to do that too and throw a villain on the team. You know what would actually be kind of cool is Bane.
Bane could be cool.
Because
like
there's
that
some
super villain of that Gotham girl and Gotham had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think like throwing some villains on the teams, it adds that cool dynamic. I don't know. I like that idea. So I think you got 2 more if I didn't lose count.
Yeah, I believe so. So, just then, I mean, you've already got Kyle, so there's no point adding another Green Lantern. Could be cool throwing in someone like, I mean, the problem with the Tournament Power Arena, right, is just like a flat surface. So people like Poison Ivy or Mara would be kind of useless. And there's no real water for them to use.
I was thinking of, I was also thinking about maybe Martian Manhunter. Because, I mean, obviously you got like the psychic attacks, which would be super effective from what we saw in Dragon Ball.
Mm-hmm,
like,
but I'm also kind of just like, again, Martian Man has the things where he's basically just like Superman with extra shit. So like, I'm trying to look for a little bit more variety, but he's definitely a contender. He'd be really invaluable to have on it. Maybe a good one could be, I'm trying to think of like trippy characters. Oh, you know who actually jump on board for this immediately, and would be like the Jiren of the group, Orion.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
Orion would immediately be like the representative of the new gods on this team, and he'd be like the liability. He'd be like the Vegeta who could fuck things up for them, and like he'd be the physically strongest, but like he'd be the one who would fight Vegeta, for example. Not just because we did it in our series. It's like it would happen in canon, and those guys just wouldn't like each other. But yeah, I think, and then I got one more, right?
Yeah.
Who's a good full stop character? I think it's a bit of a sausage fest, so if we can get another female character in there would be helpful. Oh, you know, actually, alright. Hawk Girl, if she's allowed to be from Snyder's run, where she can absorb energy with her wings, because she fucking wins the tournament for them.
Key blast. Get wrecked.
No, legit, she fucking absorbs the anti-monitor's blast. So you kidding me? A Kamehameha would just super up.
Right. We got a super chat during all. Just didn't want to interrupt it.
Who was it?
So this is another one from the Jurassic Show for another £1.99. Thank you, sir. It says, if Broly, Paragus, and Beats landed on New Genesis. Oh my. Well, I imagine they'd probably get mainly ignored by like Highfather and Light Ray and Orion and all of them, because like New Genesis doesn't give a fuck about the people of the planet itself. So it'd basically be like Paragus kind of using Broly to take over Forager and the Bug Peoples. And until that becomes enough of a problem that like Orion touches down. And shit. So here's the controversial take. Depending on how long it takes for Orion to get annoyed and touch down, I'm pretty sure Broly is not going to be strong enough to deal with Orion. So Orion just comes through, mercilessly kills Paragus, Broly, and Beats. And then that's the end of that.
Yeah.
I think.
pretty much.
Um,
Broly isn't gonna have enough time to even get to where he was when he was fighting Gogeta, and even if he did, you could still make an argument for Orion if you really wanted, because again, it's not just Darkseid who has avatars and exists above the multiverse, it's all the new gods. Orion's the one who fought Darkseid in Final Crisis and almost killed him, so that tells you all you need to know about the scale of these guys. At least obviously when they're going all out. So again, if Broly does kill Orion, he could just fucking reform as an avatar. Not as easily as Darkseid, but it would happen eventually. So it's not gonna be in Broly's favor, especially because Orion's not gonna listen to him like Goku did and give him a chance. And even then, Gogeta was gonna kill him. So yeah, it would be a very sad tale for Broly in that situation.
Yeah. Now, if you assume that he lands on the floating city of New Genesis, Highfather's a lot more merciful and stuff than Orion is. So I imagine they're just raised on New Genesis, and looking like Broly does races with Light Ray and stuff, and maybe like Broly and Orion could actually kind of bond a little bit because they both have like these rage outburst things. And so they kind of like learn to control that together. That could maybe be kind of interesting. Though again, just the scale of the new god is ridiculous.
But I think if Broly's in a situation where he can
too.
be raised with them, I think he actually could make it up, because again, he got to like Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta, a fusion level, from just like an hour of fighting. So if he's being trained by new gods, yeah, if any Saiyan is gonna do it, it will be him. But then I imagine it might cause some problems because Orion's gonna get really fucking jealous.
Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting one. I like how that all goes. All right. Zonin Blade says, "How could you forget Mr. Terrific for the Tournament of Power?" I mean, like, I don't know, because you're not allowed weapons, right?
No.
Yeah, so like he couldn't do anything because he couldn't bring the T-spheres because they'd be qualified as a weapon.
And
Maybe that'd be
around,
the biggest
though.
problem. I guess no, because the one dude had the power suits. So I guess Lex could come in with the power suit still, and it's all okay.
Yeah, and even if he's allowed the T-spheres, I still wouldn't put him over any of the characters I've mentioned personally, of like who I'd want to represent the DC universe.
Guys, question: what would be Krypton of this AU? A merge between my favorite versions of it, DC AU and the DC EU. Imagine Brainiac invading the planet.
No,
Zod
this again.
I think it's about RWBY. I don't get it.
Yeah, again, I'm not
like,
giving any spoilers.
Yeah. The problem with your question is you go in like way too specific and not just like one sentence questions are probably the best way to get things done. Not Just a Manson says, what if Broly showed up at the Justice League headquarters and takes a bath without saying a word?
Then they'd probably just be like, well, I mean, Broly's a very handsome dude, so I imagine many of the Leaguers, men and women, would not complain.
What if they brought back Fury, Hippolyta Trevor into DC as a mini trinity with John and Damian? See, I like the idea of Wonder Woman getting to have a kid with, the having a mini trinity of John, Damian, kind of thing. I think that's such a fun, cool idea. It just makes so much sense to me that Superman and Batman have become fathers now in continuity. And I really do think that is a direction that people should go with Wonder Woman, but it's a very fine line, because I don't want someone to touch it and ruin it, because I think it'd be very easy to write that insensitively.
Definitely.
Not gonna read that one out loud. Go over to the comments real quick because it's pretty fucking funny.
Oh man. Let's see here. Get it. She-Ra / Guardians of the Galaxy or just Thor crossover?
I mean,
fucking
She-Ra
love
and
the new
Thor
She-Ra show.
would probably...
Yeah.
Thor would immediately... Well, I mean, it's the new Shiva show. I imagine she's quite young, so I was just about to say, well, Thor would try and hit on her immediately, but if she's the younger version, then no. They just have a fun adventure. They're both fun adventure heroes. Like, there's not really many emotional stakes to be able to put to that. Maybe, again, if Thor is longer lived than her, so there could be him kind of taking a mentor route, but then she teaches him things that he doesn't know. Like, that'd be a fun one shot, I imagine, but not too much thematic depth there. But you don't need it, really. It doesn't need to be.
Mm-hmm.
And they could do that because Thor the myth is in the public domain, so they don't even need to do the Marvel character. They could actually do that episode.
Yeah, if they wanted to. Though Eternia's got its own. Or is it Eternia? No, Eternia's He-Man. What the fuck's the name of it? Shit.
I think it's the same place, isn't it?
No, because they're on a different planet in the new one, and I just can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. I feel silly. Okay. Yeah. What if Ultron replaced Cell?
The Cell Saga would be a lot easier.
Yeah.
Like, Ultron just wouldn't have the capacity for growth that Cell did. He wouldn't just be that overwhelming powerhouse, and like I said, they've got Bulma, so they could take him out. Ultron isn't going to be able to threaten to blow up the solar system. The main problem comes from that wouldn't be Cell. It would be, well, they'd be very vastly unprepared when Boo turns up.
They'd just be too weak. They'd never get past like Super Saiyan. Think there's anything needed beyond that. Etheria is the name of the planet they're on in the new She-Ra.
Got you.
Right. Like, I mean, come on, that is so close. It's not even fair. Yeah. I saw another one up here. I'm gonna scroll back to because it looked kind of interesting. That one's not bad too. Okay, real quick. Will Goku Black be Dragon Ball DC's Bizarro or Eradicator? Firm no on that. We answer this every stream. I think it might alleviate down after we're through the Super Saiyan saga, but we're not doing retreads of anything anymore. All the sagas that we have planned out now are going to be 100% original. So there you go. Like, there'll still be references and calls. There's not going to be a one-to-one person.
And just as well, like, Zamasu, I see it so much, and as a massive Goku Black fan, like, again, for a while there, my avatar was Goku Black. It hurts me to see people treat Goku Black as if he's just evil Goku, where it's Zamasu in Goku's body, which is why he's such an interesting character, because he's almost like a fusion of the two in his personality. So you can't just make Goku evil and make him Goku Black. It wouldn't look the same. He's a very, very unique character that is very specific to those circumstances.
And I like these ones with power scaling ones from time to time without getting like too committed to them. But
yeah, they're fun. End of.
Yeah. So Solar Warrior says, in your opinion, how strong is current DB Super Goku in comparison to DB DC Goku?
Current Super Goku would fucking annihilate DB DC Goku. Like, it wouldn't even be a challenge. Like, there's just like, again, I was like, current DBDC is like closer to, like, if you want to do it like a direct comparison, is like in his base form he's around as strong as Goku was at the start of the Android saga, like disregarding the heart virus. Or I guess maybe just Vegeta's a better example, because then you get a direct gauge. So like in his base form he put up a good fight, but like Android 18 could beat him. But once he goes Super Saiyan, it's like times that by 50. So then you get interesting. It's like, depending on how you want to work that out, he could be like stronger than Sal or something along those lines. Like, you get closer to that. But again, Super has such a dramatic power increase. the fact that Goku now has to be careful about how hard he punches, or he'll blow up the universe, lets you know that we're not dealing with the average Saiyan warrior anymore. So yeah,
you cheeky bitch.
DB Super Goku would sneeze and destroy DBDC Goku. For now.
For now. Until DBDC Goku unlocks Super Saiyan 4 God Ultra Instinct. Oh shit, spoilers. Cut that part out of the... Problem with those $2 super chat. Thank you so much, sir. And he says, or no, sorry, £2. I don't want to fuck it.
Yes.
He says, if Goku's pod landed in the Metal Gear Solid era. Ooh, this one gets harder for me because, like, unfortunately, I remember Metal Gear Solid, but I remember that I watched my brother play it and get annoyed at the cutscenes and skip them.
Oh no.
So, the story there is pretty hard for me to recall.
Oh dear, that's unfortunate. Yeah, I remember more of Metal Gear, but like so much of that is like vaguely realistic until you get to like the political stuff and stuff. So like, I don't know, man. It's hard because do you bring Grandpa Gohan, or do you have to make an entirely new character to raise him, or because no one in the Metal Gear universe is just living in the fucking woods. Like you have to get a little bit more original with that to make it work. And then I imagine he just gets taken in by the Patriots. They use him as a weapon, and that's it. That's the end of his story. He never gets stronger than just like taking bullets, and he probably makes a really cool boss fight, but he wouldn't be anything that resembles us, and there's not much else to that story, I'm afraid.
You could maybe do like a cool Ozaru versus Metal Gear thing, though.
That could be cool.
Thing. Yeah. I feel like the Ozaru transformation really does not respect it deserves.
Yeah.
It really needs to make a cool ass return. That's something I want for whatever happens with Super. I want Ozaru to come back. So much shit has come back because Toyotaro's like a fan writing it that like probably shouldn't have come back, but like I really do want Ozaru to come back in some way, shape, or form. Broly kind of does it with the form, but like I mean full on, give me the goddamn child, please.
For the longest time I was really on board with the idea of when we only thought Goku could use Kaioken times 10, and like he was above Vegeta. A lot of people were kind of thinking, oh well, Vegeta can make up that gap if he finds out how to go Super Saiyan Blue Ozaru. And I was like, yeah, that'd be great. But they just gave him evolution instead, which I mean it makes sense because it's easier for him to turn on and off and etc. But like I don't know, it would have been cool. I think if anyone should bring it back, it should be Vegeta.
Yeah, that'd be a cool one. I mean, like you and I talk about this proper, but like Vegeta fought Broly and saw him tap into the Wrath form and completely lose control but get all the power for it. Vegeta knows how to control Ozaru, so there should be something with Vegeta trying to learn how to do that. How to tap into the Wrath form.
I think that could be really cool.
Alright, another £4.99 classic show. He says, what if the Image and Valiant all lived in the same universe? Also, what if Galactus or the Eternals and Deviants were in the DC universe? Alright, so a bit of a double one here. I don't know much about Valiant. Really, to be honest, all I really know about Image are Renato Jones and Spawn. So, if Renato Jones were in the Valiant, there'd be less evil billionaires because he'd kill the shit out of them and it'd be awesome. What if Spawn was in the Valiant universe? He'd probably still kind of suck.
Oh, boom, 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 boom.
I don't know, that's not fair. I've personally not read Spawn. I've just never heard anything good about like how the story actually plans out. Though I will still give McFarlane this. That man knows how to draw a goddamn cape.
Capes for days, boys. Capes for days.
Capes for days. As far as the other one, what if Galactus or the Eternals and Deviants were in the DC universe?
who are the Deviants?
I have no idea.
Okay, that's cool. The Eternals I vaguely know. Let's just go with Galactus here. What if Galactus was in DC?
I mean, it'd be interesting. I imagine, unlike the Marvel heroes, though, Superman and the Justice League would try and find a more permanent solution for it. Not necessarily like killing him, because they know like the balance of the universes thing, but Superman tends to not take that for its word. Superman doesn't believe that anyone's too big to be taken down a peg. So I don't think he'd buy Galactus' bullshit. I think he'd very much be on the side of, no, life is the balance of the universe, not giant purple eating man. So Superman would come to terms with Galactus, he'd find a way to stop him, and you'd probably get something that happened, which I'm very annoyed that they undid it, but I really liked it in Al Ewing's Ultimates, where they found a way to turn Galactus into the Lifebringer. And it looked fucking dope. He was like gold and white, and he was just now dedicated to bringing back planets back to life instead of eating them. I think that's what would happen in DC, is the Justice League would find a way to do that. And he'd become their like ally.
Yeah, I really like the one of my favorite comic runs is Mike Allred and Dan Slott's Silver Surfer. And they do the issue that, like, I can't believe they managed this in continuity, but they do the issue where Silver Surfer meets Lifebringer Galactus, and they have to work together to solve problems. That's really cool. Strong issue. I love that one. Yeah, I don't know, like, Galactus is one of those things where it would be really cool. It's got to be a Green Lantern thread. Like, that's the story I want to read. This is Green Lantern Corps dealing with Galactus, because of course the Galactus for Smogo.
Yeah.
That's fucking cool right there. Of course the Green Lantern Corps knows about Galactus, so they've had to deal with him before. It's just the idea of like, oh, well, he's too big to take down. He's too big to beat. He's like this force of nature. You can only try to mitigate it and save the planet by getting the people off of it, kind of thing. And then you've got like a Hal Jordan's stubborn ass just wouldn't accept that, and he's like, no, I'm gonna stand and I'm gonna find a way to beat this guy. Like, that'd be a cool story.
I very much agree. I think Galactus would fit very nicely into DC, and I assume the others would be honest. Like, Marvel and DC's cosmology is very similar, so if one could work, then they all can work, really.
Like, from what I know about the Eternals, they basically it'd be so similar to its New Gods, honestly. Let's hear. Todd Howard says, "Hey Geek, what's your favorite movie? Why you chose RWBY? Whatever."
You cut out for a little second. You want to go over
yeah, I'll go over it again. Todd Howard says, "Hey Geek, what's your favorite movie? You too, Sid. Also, I was curious why you chose RWBY as your next What If."
Okay, you go ahead. That's first. Thanks for that.
All right. So my favorite movie is one of Stanley Kubrick's films, and it is Doctor Strangelove, aka Doctor Strangelove, aka How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. I absolutely love Doctor Strangelove. It is one of the all-time best films.
And for me, my favorite movie is much more recent, but like it's just everything I ever want from a film, and that would be Into the Spider-Verse. It's my favorite movie of all time. That is just everything as a creator I aspire to be. That is just from an artistic standpoint to a storytelling standpoint to being about Spider-Man, one of my favorite characters of all time. Everything about that is great. And outside of superhero fiction, I'd probably say the first Rocky. I really, really, really love the first Rocky.
That's a cool one. And what about the
why RWBY? Again, I said it a little bit at the start of the stream, but my girlfriend who voices Wonder Woman in this series, Sarah, go check her out. She does beautiful art. Paper Warrior, she's not Paper Warrior anymore. She's at Star Sparrow on Twitter.
You and her always fucking changing your.
We like to spice up, man. That's all I'm saying. We don't want to be as your dull ass.
My dull ass that can actually be found when people.
Yeah, but it's about the quest, man, not the journey, not the destination. But I chose RWBY just because she got me into it, and a lot of you guys were requesting it, and I thought of a really interesting take that would fit Superman in the world really nicely. That I don't think everyone suggested a lot of things, and no one's come even close, which makes me happy. Like again, this is something that will fit. You'll be able to look at it and then pretend it actually happened in the universe, and then continue to watch the series. So like, send it to Rooster Teeth and ask them to make it canon. So yeah, I just had a really cool take for it, and I'm really excited to show you guys what I've got in store.
Nice. All right, so we got 2 super chats back to back. From one from Joe Crazy for $2. Says Linkara is the Lightbringer of the DC universe. Is he talking about the guy that reviews comics and like burns them on occasion?
Yeah, you mean the guy who's a man? Because I mean, Linkara's pretty cool. He's definitely one of the best guys from Channel Awesome. So yeah, I'm happy to call him the Lightbringer if you guys want to, but like I don't know about in canon.
I don't know if there's like another a character list in here or something. And then Jedi Man 3477 says, "Do the Green Lanterns in DBC still distrust the Saiyans, or has Goku DC changed their minds?" And also, thank you, sir, for the $5 super chat.
By and large, a lot of the older ones certainly do. A lot of them have lost friends, family, etc. to the Saiyans. So there's a kind of anonymity there, rightly so, because the Saiyans were fucking bastards. There's no like, oh, there's another side to it. No, every single Saiyan was a fucking asshole. Like without exception. So there is that, but at the same time, Goku's deeds have reached a couple of ears, and obviously being able to save the entire Justice League and bring back a whole people as this legendary hero that sacrificed himself will probably change a lot of people's minds, especially now that Kyle Rayner's out in the universe, Hal Jordan's back, and Hal Jordan's friends with him. So yeah, the things are changing, but how far they will change, and will any of the Green Lantern characters show up, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, one other thing we've talked about with that is once Hal kind of encountered and started, interacting with them, the Guardians picked up at some point that he was a Saiyan, but at that point it was like too late to just have him assassinated, kind of thing. So they're like, all right, well, this one I guess is okay, but luckily he's the only one. And because they don't know about Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz at that point. Let's see here. Trenton Brown asks, "Is this Superman as Ozpin?"
No, this is an original. This is Superman as Superman.
All right. Kamikaze Badger says, "Oh, this will be interesting because I know a lot about one thing and you know a lot." So, what if the Yujuta, the Predators, were in the universe of Part 7 JoJo?
Oh, snap. That's a fucking weird one, but I dig it. Alright, so to phrase this, Ian, this is basically just asking if the Predators were in the Wild West.
Oh, Predators in the Wild West. See, alright, so there's a very strong part of the Predator community that I am certainly in the camp of, that really wants a period piece because you have that freaking awesome scene at the end of Predator 2 where Danny Glover ends up inside the Predator ship, and you see like the trophies of all the skulls from all these crazy aliens that the Predators killed, and everyone kind of like focuses on the fact that there's a xenomorph skull, but there's also like a T-Rex skull back there, which makes you just go. And then at the end of that movie, Danny Glover's character is given a pistol from like the 1700s that one of the Predators took as like a trophy, and so like they've seeded it in the movie Predators. There's a great moment where they're kind of camping out, and they just find some samurai armor that's been left behind on this game reserve alien planet, and it's like, so the Predators just running around feudal Japan. That's awesome. So the idea of the Predators in the Wild West, yes, I'm there for it. That sounds great. I am so excited. Now, how does that work on the JoJo side?
Yeah, the problem that becomes then with JoJo is how the part 7 takes place during a race across America called Steel Bull Run, where it's just like from one point of America to the other. But the real plan is the president has organized this race in order to... Oh, it's so funny describing JoJo to people who don't know it. It's just so good. The president has organized this race in order to find the body parts of Jesus Christ. So that he can then collect them all and give himself powers which will be able to put under America. And what the body parts do is they deflect bad luck. So it will make America, all of its misfortune will be deflected onto other countries. So he's actually really patriotic, and there's like fucking video essays about like, is the president really bad? Yes, he is, guys. He tried to rape someone, but I'm not gonna get into that right now. But yeah, and then JoJo has this thing called stands, which are basically like, if your superpowers were manifested by like something that stood beside you, like you didn't actually have the power, but like you could summon a creature which had a specific power. A lot of them aren't actually like, a lot of them like how you use them makes them strong. So Predator could still be a very big threat for a lot of these characters. But a lot of JoJo is like finding a way once you're being hunted to reverse the tables with a very smart like plan. So I think a Predator episode of that would fit really, really well. It would just be about how you do it, and do you give the Predator a stand? Like, and if you do, then the stand has to be based off, well, not based off, but it has to be named after a song. So what is a fucking Predator's song name? Like, there's a stand called Killer Queen, there's a stand called Crazy Diamond, etc.
I mean, there's got to be like a song that's got like a hunting as part of it. Hungry like the wolf.
That could be cool.
Yeah, that kind of works. So, and I mean, honestly, there is a predator just called Wolf. I don't remember if it's the one from Concrete Jungle, if that's his name, or no, it's the predator named Wolf, or named by the fans at least, Wolf, is the one from AVPR, if I'm remembering that correctly. So that actually works better than I think you intended it to.
That's pretty great.
Shortbeard has donated $5. Thank you so much, sir. And he says, hey guys, quick question. Is there any plans for the What If Geek and Sid wrote Sonic Adventure other than the LP/discussion series?
Well, the main thing with that is it's just, we're going to still get it done eventually. It's just we're not devoting any time to it because it's just not getting the response. So we're just going to focus on stuff that actually is. It will happen. It's just about, if you really want it to happen, go share those videos around and get more people interested in them.
Yeah.
It's a simple fact.
Yeah, the plan is to get through the whole LP and then just do at least one video just talking about like, okay, so this is our version of Sonic Adventure. Yeah. So that's kind of the plan, to do it as just a Sonic Adventure What If. As far as like how much bells and whistles thing really depends on the response it's getting. Like a lot of the things that we do is shots, whatever, they're always going to be just pure narration for the first step. Or if we're going to do voice acting, it'll be one voice actor. Because we don't want to invest too much time and effort into a thing if it's not going to get a response. That's like, I think a really good example of this is the Dragon Ball one, where like the first episode, it's all narration and it gets a really good response. To the second episode, you know, we kind of pull out all the stops and we increase the quality of the production. So maybe the Sonic LP, just like the discussion about the thing, isn't. So maybe the first episode of the adventure thing, we'll do gangbusters, and then we'll pull out stops. As of right now, the plan is to just kind of get adventure done and see how people respond.
Pretty much all of that.
Yeah. Jedi Man 3477. Thank you so much. Oh man, you're awesome. What if Batman and the Bat Fam were in My Hero Academia?
Again, haven't watched that.
I know, I feel bad when like from what I understand, it's like kind of a superhero university thing, and people without powers are actually kind of looked down on a little. So I imagine the Bat fam would have a hard time, like, you know, kind of they'd have to do the justifying themselves kind of thing. And I don't mind Batman stories where we play with the idea of justifying. Those can be fun from time to time. There's a great episode of Batman Brave with that. But otherwise, I don't know. I imagine that's kind of, but I don't know MHA to really thing. I really like this one. The Shavis T.V says, "Can you make What If Goku was raised on Themyscira?"
Oh damn! You take that one.
That's a really cool idea. The notion of how does Hippolyta react to a baby landing on their shores when it's a boy? I don't know. Like, I legit do not know. When does he land? And who finds him? Because you could do the Steve Trevor thing, where Wonder Woman finds him, and she's like a teenager, and he's a baby, and she's like, no, I'm not going to let, you know, because by law, he should be killed for being a man that's trespassed soil, but at the same time, he's a baby, so they're probably not going to do that. At the same time, Wonder Woman isn't 100% sure on that, so that's got a lot of fun potential in it. But so like let's like forget all of that and just have Goku's growing up with Amazon. I mean, that's crazy because they're all just, you know, running mile like it's nothing and like lifting trees and doing all this stuff. He's gonna fit right in and just push himself and start like absolutely exceeding, and that's gonna push Diana to go even further. So that's a like Goku kind of growing up as Diana's brother. It's kind of a really cool. I quite like that, and Goku's like innocence. You know, assuming that you get the head drop or something. Diana's picking him up from the pod and drops him right away because she's a teenager. Shit like that. You're assuming the head drops, so you get the innocent Goku. Goku's innocence would be actually very refreshing and be kind of like this really interesting rebuke to Hippolyta's fears about man's work. And then the fact that they know he's a Zaru translation, that's got a lot of potential. I really like not gonna there's a lot of story potential with it. Because of course the Amazons are just like, for as advanced and as perfected as they've become, they do still have like a lot of internalized fears that kind of I don't know if seep is the right word, but that kind of permeate their culture. And you know, like, as much as I like the perfected female utopia, I do think it is really important that there's something still wrong with it, because otherwise there's no reason for to ever and so you could play with that, and like the Uzaru be a really good kind of window into that. It's like the Amazons, you know, maybe Goku starts to convince, then one night he sees the full and turns into a Uzaru, and that's like, see, we knew he was wrong. Oh, he's a weapon sent by man's world to try to destroy us, kind of thing. That could, I don't know, there's a lot of cool ideas.
I know I had like a really ages ago. I had like the definitive like story I wanted to do. I don't even know what I wanted to do, but like it sparked from like a conversation or something of like Kal-El landing on Themyscira and making that a Wonder Woman story of where she goes across America trying to find a home. And then she finds the Kens and stuff. Like, I thought that was like that could be a really fun way to tie those two together in like a history. But I think the way you phrase it with Goku is just as interesting in a very different way. So yeah, I'm all for that.
Primal Mythos, £2 donation. Thank you so much again.
Always appreciated.
Thoughts on Wolverine, X-23 plus Sabretooth and RWBY?
I mean, they'd fit pretty much. They're on that level of power where they'd fit in. I guess you just make their semblance regeneration, and the claws just becomes what their weapons are instead of actually being inside them. You could have like a Weapon X equivalent in RWBY of trying to find a way to combine man with weapon. I think that could all really work. I don't know if I have like a specific take for them, but I definitely think out of a lot of suggestions, they're definitely very feasible to fit in, especially X-23. I actually wouldn't be surprised if they made because a lot of characters in RWBY are like based off other fictional kings. Like there's a Sun Wukong, RWBY's based on Red Riding Hood. There's characters like Nora's based off Thor. Like there's characters like that, and it's mainly from myth. But if you did want to go with like more superhero thing, I think X-23 as like a student would be really, really cool.
Cool. Let's see here. Not Just a Manson says, what if Spawn was in Dragon? Okay. I mean, that kind of works because you got like a demon realm. And Spawn is like generically hell, but at the same time, he doesn't meet, Lucifer. He meets Malvolgia. So I guess that kind of actually functions. I mean, I'd love to see Toriyama draw Spawn.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
I think that'd be fucking cool. I don't know. Like, Spawn's one of those things where the power is just astronomically ridiculous. But just beyond that, I don't really know what he would add that would be particularly interesting. Or
He'd be only funny. He'd really only be funny just as the juxtaposition of like to take him down, right? Of just to have this really try-hard, edgy character meet Goku, and it'd be funny. I don't think you could do a really serious Spawn story. Like someone in the Discord was like, or like Bardock or something. He went with someone. I'm just like, I feel like you once you get into like contracts between heaven and hell and revenge stories and a man who loses and it's horrific, I'm just like, it's just not Dragon Ball. Like you need to really look at what that story actually is, and its roots are always in comedy. Even with like Zamasu, who's like a genocidal maniac, or Frieza, they've always got like a gag to him. Like they've always like Zamasu's like whole thing is he just can't shut up, and it's why he's so funny. Or like Frieza's whole thing is like he's become one of the funniest characters in Super. TFS's big genius move was giving that to Sal. And it made Sal a much better villain once he had that, of just this kind of like dorky guy. Like even Vegeta again is a really funny character. Like I think someone like Spawn is just so self-serious, you'd have to make him a joke. You can't just have the very fan like, what the most epic battle of all time where like Spawn fought this. It's just not Dragon Ball, right? It's just like you just have Beerus show up and like Hakai him, and then he'd be fine, or he'd just be a cape, or Goku would try and fight him, and then it's just like there's not much there that you're really gonna say with that story, in my opinion.
I guess all the Spawn talk is just because he just released in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, and that he looks awesome in that. I love his moveset. I
know, I am terrible at fighting games. I find fighting games very, very fun to watch people. I'm absolute garbage at fighting games. Did I ever tell... I'm sure I've told you, but I can't remember if I've ever told Budokai story on stream.
I mean, go ahead.
Okay. So, I'm a 2000s teenager. I was a teenager in like 2006 and shit. And my friend had Budokai Tenkaichi. And he was legit good at it. Like, it's with rose-colored glasses. I think he probably could have entered tournaments and won, with how good he was. And I tried. I was really trying to be good, but I just suck at fighting games. But I was certain that if he gave me just the most ridiculous handicap in the world, I could win one match. So I got Super Saiyan 2 Majin Vegeta with like an extra health bar versus him playing as Yajirobe, and I still lost.
Oh boy.
And not only did I lose, like I got like destroyed.
Let's put a rip in the chat for Ian right now.
Let's see here. Solo Warrior has donated $5 in Super Chat. Thank you so much.
It's massively appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah. Current Dragon Ball Super Goku can destroy well over thousands of universe if I explained why it would take too long.
Then I think then I'm just gonna go with that. I mean, because I will just say that if it takes you too long to explain how strong a Dragon Ball character is, you're wrong, because Toriyama hasn't thought about it that long. you can say Dragon Ball again. I see so many. I'm all for like trying to power scale things and everything, but I do think like once you get past a point, you get so ridiculous with like equations and mathematics that you're missing the point of the storytelling, right? Like you're missing what's the intent here. When they say Beerus can destroy the universe, that's already pretty incalculable. That's already pretty like over. It's just meant to show that Beerus is real shit. And when they show that Zeno turns up and he can just wipe out everything, it's let's like show you that in very simple, that a child can understand those scales. And all you really need to know about, well, Beerus can destroy a universe, but this character is maybe stronger than him. Like with Jiren example, right? So then they introduce Jiren and say, oh, Jiren can destroy God of Destruction, but they keep it kind of vague. That's all the levels of strength and power scaling you need in Dragon Ball, because that lets you know the stakes, and it lets the characters then do the work. When I'm thinking of writing Goku, I don't keep in my mind of like, oh, he needs to be 50 million times this level of strength, and then this character needs to be... Because you're not writing a story at that point, you're just doing a math problem. And I do think it needs to be said sometimes, like, it is fun, but please, if you are a writer, never limit yourself to that, because that's just not how it's done.
Yeah, that's the thing for me, and like, it kind of just makes me want to do stuff to just like thumb my nose at power scaling sometimes. Like, I don't know, I fucking want like an episode of Dragon Ball DC to just be like Wonder Woman, you know, one arm deadlifting something that Vegeta put all his strength into lifting or some shit. Just to fucking, you know, like, yeah, Wonder Woman's physically stronger, Vegeta's the better fighter or some shit like just to like fucking like, see, you can't do it. No matter what you do. Because like people have kind of explained that one, and that's kind of an interesting power scale too. That is like, for all Goku's strength and power and stuff, his ability to deadlift is actually pretty low. And I find that kind of just interesting, kind of worked out, because that's just exemplified through the writing, because Toriyama really isn't interested in characters' abilities to lift things. He's interested in the power that they can display through mostly prowess, right? So yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting thought process. All right, the Gadsden man says, y'all remember when the voice actor of Krillin said that Krillin could beat the entire Marvel universe? My reaction, facepalm. I mean, yeah, probably not. But at the same time, he's Krillin. He can hype himself up. Let him have this.
Yeah, I mean, and again, it's just like one of those things. It's like, well, you could write a story where he could. We've written stories where the Punisher has killed the entire Marvel universe. Like,
Krillin kills the Marvel universe.
Like, yeah, like it's one of those things that you could legit just write the story if you wanted to. I think again, people taking these so literal, like everything needs to be an arm wrestle, right? When you say a character beats this character, everyone applies, oh, that means that character's stronger. And it's just, as a writer, you can make any character in fiction beat any other character. And I think that's lost sometimes, especially in the anime and comic community, is people get way too wrapped up in feats.
Yeah, absolutely. Jedi Man 3477, another two. It's awesome. Last one, love you guys, but what if JoJo was in Dragon? Oh, is there one that fits better for DBZ in your...
I mean, early JoJo, before they introduced stands is like focused on like taking out like vampires and monsters and like using the energy from the sun to like kill unholy things, right? So you can kind of work that into Dragon Ball because Hamon is a martial art. But I also, I also kind of wonder when we get to stands in JoJo, it's one of those things where they can either completely win, like just from like just the rules of like there'll be like almost like moral traps where we'll put a lock on your heart, and the more you lie, the more it gets tighter until you die. Like, there's no way Goku can fight that. But then there's some stands that are just like, oh, I have a sword that goes really fast, and then Goku would make that look a joke. So like, JoJo is just one of those series where the author is way more intelligent than I. So I struggle to do JoJo what ifs because every single fight in that manga is more intricate and situational than anything else I've ever read. That's why it's so good, but it's also why it's like really hard to take it and apply to other verses, because you just have to get as good a writer as Araki, and I don't think I am, especially not in the middle of a stream.
Fair enough. I don't know enough about say. I tried watching it on Hulu, but they only had the first 2 seasons up. Or first 2 parts, what the fuck ever. So I kind of gave up on it. It was interesting though. Like, I can see why people like it. As far as like what they were there, possibly, like, it, as Alfie says, they are so situationally based, and that's something I really got. Like, I know everything you're going to say. Next you're gonna say this. Next you're gonna say that I'm not dealing with the average Saiyan warrior anymore.
Legit.
Yeah. So I don't know, like, playing with that idea of like predicting the fight and stuff, I think that could work to some degree with Dragon Ball and fit well. Like, that kind of ringside commentary is something I really love. It's in almost Dragon Ball has a very particular feel for it that I love. And so I think JoJo would fit really well in that aspect, if nothing else.
I think you're pretty right there.
Let's see here. Jason Campbell says, "Sup, how goes the art?"
Art's going good. I'm just moving on to doing the flat colors now.
Yay. So this is the painting side of things you're talking about?
Well, I'm going to be doing the flats, and once I've got the base colors, then I'll be painting over it with highlights and shadows, etc.
Okay. Adian Clark says, "What if Archie Sonic was in DC?"
Oh my god.
Damn it, where's Matt?
Yeah, we need to get Matt in the call right now. The Sonic Errata cover lover. Do you want to know the story behind that? Come watch Geeky Gentleman. We do shows every weekend, every week on Ian's channel. Plug. For Archie Sonic, he's really strong, but I also think like a lot of the shit he does do isn't above most speedsters in DC. Like, every speedster in comics is kind of busted. They like to have fun with that. So I mean, I'm not going to step into who would win, Sonic or the Flash. I just think that'd be cool to see either way. I'm happy with however that turns out. But I think he wouldn't be that big of a change. It would be weird just to have him hang around. He definitely wouldn't be on the Justice League or anything, just because Sonic does not. He's not really kind of a guy who listens to rules and hangs out. So he'd probably annoy a lot of people. But he's almost like Hal Jordan in that respect, where he's kind of off doing his own thing, having adventures. And in DC, there's lots of things to have adventures. I think the more interesting thing is if you bring over Eggman with him, and then Eggman becomes a supervillain, and he fits fucking perfectly.
Oh yeah, Eggman would be a fantastic supervillain. And like, that could be the really fun one. Eggman's got like the whole fucking Justice League just on their knees, like completely defeated, and then Sonic shows up.
And everyone's just like, what the fuck is this?
Fucking like Batman's like the last one standing, like he's not even standing, he's like just Batman's crawling away from Eggman as Eggman laughs like horrifically, and Batman's like, "You won't get away with this. Someone will come and stop you." And then Sonic just shows up. He's eating a fucking chili dog. He's like, "Hey guys, how's it going?"
I just feel like,
whoa, this is way past cool.
Batman just looks over to Clark and he's just like, what? It's like, you made this league a joke. It's like, well, look, just because I hang out with Captain Carrot one time, and now everyone thinks you're a fairy. You're the one dressed as a bat, Bruce.
Let's see here. Well, I saw a Gundam one, and I know actually kind of interested to talk. Star Wars and Transformers, or Gundam and Transformers. Which one would work better?
I think Gundam easy.
Yeah, Gundam and Transformers sounds really cool. I only ever watched one Gundam series, and it was like just catching episodes on Toonami kind of thing. And that was G Gundam, I believe it was called, the one that had like a Terminate arc involved in it and shit. And like the G cells, I believe was the other thing that I remembered. But I could see Gundam working really well with Transformers, because you've already got like the giant mech. So like, can a Transformer take over a Gundam? I assume so, or take the form of a Gundam. I assume so.
I think that would all sound really, really cool. And just from pure visual standpoint, right?
Yeah.
When you get humans involved, you finally avert the problem that the Transformers movies have been having about, like, no one cares about the humans, but we need kind of like a human POV character, apparently. Now you can just put the humans in the robots as well. Everybody wins.
Alfie, I've just realized you're Superman in a RWBY drawing. Shit. You know why?
Why?
No trunks.
Well, yeah, he's wearing them underneath, like a sane. That's why none of these are the true Superman. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. That's a good point. That's the art.
It's like the yellow oval. Everyone has to earn that.
Alright, this one's actually kind of cool. What if Doomsday from DC was in Dragon Ball?
Doomsday would be pretty cool Dragon Ball villain, because eventually, like, he's one of the ones who would reach the point where they just couldn't stop him anymore, because they'd kill him like 10 times and then run out of ways to kill him, because they can only come at something so many times. So you would need the one thing is, if you go off the manga, Goku can kind of do the Hakai right now. He's not that good at it, but he's learning how to, like, I really like it because it goes back to the thing of Goku sees a technique and he figures out how to do it. So he's kind of getting there. If he could Hakai Doomsday, I don't think there's any way he comes back from that, because that's just wiped from existence. But if he does, then everyone's fucked.
Right? Like, shit, what do you do with that? Yeah, that little hack to Doomsday is actually pretty cool.
It's the one interesting thing about him that I would super lean into, like, really hardcore, of just Superman as the ultimate problem solver, not versus Grey Hulk, but as the problem that keeps changing.
And like Superman being like, okay, well, I guess I don't have to worry about whether or not I kill it. So
yeah, exactly. So it's never about Superman having to fight a lethal enemy. It's just he's so fucking durable.
It's a cool idea. Let's see here. Jason Campbell says, "Yo, I watch a fan Eggman or Muji Mikey on YouTube. It was a wild ride, but it was actually pretty good and interesting given it was from Eggman's perspective." That sounds cool. Is this like animated? Is it just like a narration kind of thing? I kind of want to check this out. I'm going to copy and paste this username.
Muji Mikey, I've watched some of his stuff. He does a lot of Sonic like game showcases. So I'm not sure if it will be animated or not, but if that is, that sounds fantastic.
Yeah, I'd go for like, like an Eggman game could actually be really fun.
I still really want him in Smash Brothers.
Oh, that'd be a cool.
Like, everyone's been really desperate to get another Sonic rep, and a lot of people want Shadow. It's either Eggman or Tails for me, because I think Tails is good where you can give them a unique moveset, but Eggman, like the shit you can do with like him using his badniks and different references from all over the game series, I just think would be so cool.
For what it's worth, the Eggman thing is not like properly animated. It's basically like storyboarded.
Oh well, I mean that's still really impressive.
Yeah, it is. It's cool.
I mean, we're not gonna slander anyone for not having animation. I mean, just good narration is good
get
enough.
on our level. No, I mean that's cool. It's awesome that they did that. I put later. Check that out. As I self-quarantine because of Corona. Beware, it gets a bit real. Oh man, are we gonna get like super like gritty, overly serious side because I love shit like that.
Oh no! Never mind. Go back.
I'm so excited.
We've gone too far. We've crossed the event horizon.
The more ridiculous it gets, the more excited I am. Yeah, like, you know, Alpha, you've started something. Now everyone's just putting Superman villains in Dragon Ball, so Brainiac in Dragon Ball.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I mean, he does. It's just the same thing as Ultron, basically, depending on the version. And if it's not, then he gets killed real fucking quick. Well, not real quick. It depends where he is, but like, he's not any more of a threat than, say, like Majin Buu or Sal or those other world-ending villains. It's like they'd find a way to stop him if he's not an AI, and if he is an AI, then Bulma stops him. So they've got ways to deal with him.
Yeah. I don't know. There's like you got the whole infectious aspect of Brainiac too that you can play with. That's kind of cool.
Maybe, but then you're just doing baby basically.
Yeah, fair. Like Eggman goes to Nam and gets some PTSD. It sounds nuts, but it actually is really well written. I mean, that's the fun part is you can do anything. Good writing device is you can get away with anything as long as you can get away with it. Gianni Perez says, I see that Superboy reference. Yeah, Alfie, you're not going to get one over on any of them. They're going to see your references that you've clearly got there for reference.
I mean, yeah. I hate to break it to you guys, but I don't just pull colours out of thin air. I'm colourblind. It kind of helps knowing that it's definitely a red and a red and a definitely a blue. Goodness me.
What if Kite Man was in Dragon?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Oh man. I like that idea. I like the idea of like Vegeta just being the only like super powered one around for whatever reason. There's just like a string of robberies in West City by Kite Man, and Bulma like encourages him to be more kind to the populace and take care of it for him. And so Kite Man's just robbing something and is gonna jump out of a balcony, and then Vegeta's just flying there like all smugly annoyed with him, and he just takes it way too far and like almost murders him.
It always makes me laugh. Just imagining Gohan roping the rest of the crew to be Saiyamans like 1 through 7.
God, it's so good, so good. Let's see here. What if Condiment King was in JJB, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? With
I mean, Condiment King is just, unless you give him a stand, then you can make Condiment King a fucking threat. Alright, how can we make condiments threatening? Because that's the thing with JoJo, you can do any... Okay, so like, he's the Condiment King, and he can like translocate, he can transform any liquid on the planet to condiments, so you can turn your blood into mustard.
Oh my god, that sounds terrifying.
And fucking kill you instantly. So you have to like counteract it by like replacing like fucking... You have to bleed yourself out to fucking get it out of your system so it turns into regular blood, and you have to like have it on a fucking like the shit they do with JoJo is just insane. That would kill any normal person, but they find ways to get over these like complete no-win scenarios. Like legit, like your fucking body will be disintegrated if you do this. He's like, no, because I found a way to do this. It's like, Nani? it's just the fucking piano music plays, which I fucking made Batman got a JoJo moment where he got Batman. Fucking peak of DVDC right there.
Yeah, it's all been downhill. Jason Gamble says, what are some of your favorite shows, both old and new? Recently, I've been rewatching Batman animated series and Batman Brave and the Bold is fantastic. My personal favorite DC animated series is the Green Lantern animated series. Not just because I'm a Green Lantern fan, but like, as much as I like John's run, it is like this really continuity heavy thing. Like it all depends on this retcon of what happened 10 years earlier and shit. So it's kind of like, you know. But like I really love Green Lantern the animated series because it takes all the great stuff from John's run and adapts it to just work in a more streamlined fashion. It breaks my heart that Green Lantern the animated series only got one season because they did stuff so well. It is literally like my top thing of if you want to like Green Lantern, if you want to know what's cool about Green Lantern, watch the animated.
I definitely can see what you're going for there. For me, I'll probably go with another Greg Weisman show, and that's just Spectacular Spider-Man's always a treat. The Batman's really underrated. Especially, I was rewatching recently I've been on like a Dracula kick. So I rewatched the Batman vs. Dracula, which is a really fun time. Batman the Animated Series, I do think is a classic. Same with most of the DCAU. Superman TS and Justice League are really good. Just Justice League, they forgot how to write Superman. There's my agenda out the way. But yeah, you'll be hard pressed to find an old series that I'd be like, oh, that fucking sucks. There's normally good in a lot of things. You just have to try and find it.
Mm-hmm. I guess here's an interesting question. If you could give a series to any character, who would you choose?
Wonder Woman.
Same.
Overdue. We need to just do it, man. No one else is.
Yeah, just fucking make our Wonder Woman animated series.
Wonder Woman's just overdue. She should have got one in the 90s, and it's a fucking shame that she didn't. And it shows.
She did get a TV show.
That's true. But like Superman had a TV show, and he was still in Justice League.
Yeah, no, that's true. I actually don't like the Wonder Woman, to be honest. I've tried watching it a couple times, and I just. Let's see here. Got a couple here. I'm just trying to think of one that I think is worth some good discussion. Alright, if Booster Gold was in Doctor Who, that could actually be really fun.
That'd be funny. I mean,
yeah.
The Doctor he's basically just Captain Jack, but not as charismatic. So like, the Doctor he'd be a companion for a little bit. The Doctor would see through his shit immediately, because he's not dealing with, like, people he could fool. The Doctor probably knows who he is. So there's that. I think.
Do you like the Booster Gold thing where it's like he just pretends to be a jerk?
Yeah, and he's actually really.
I don't know. I as much fun and like how that's another John's retcon. That's like a cool idea or whatever, but I still really just like I was a security guard and I stole a time machine and a superhero suit and came back to the past to make money. I still really like that.
Oh no! I misread what you were trying to say. Yeah, I'm all for that. I thought you meant like he's actually a really nice person deep down and just puts on a front.
Ah, okay, gotcha.
No,
I don't mind that.
That's definitely the origin for Booster Gold till the end of time. that's it right there.
Yeah. Yeah, shit like that's. I don't know. Like, I don't mind the. Like, there's something about just like Booster Gold's just a fucking loser.
Green Lantern, thanks.
Oh,
Oh, so
Thanks,
funny.
Green
I was
Lantern.
like Watchtower database or something, did like celebrating 80 years of Green Lantern, and it fucking put Booster Gold in the lineup.
Yep. Man, shit like that good. A Spectacular Spider-Man is Spider-Man's Batman the animated series.
Yeah.
Do you mean boring?
No, he means great, Ian. You shinniban. Yeah, bad taste, boy.
Yeah, I know. That's my hot. I find Batman the animated series boring, and I find Spectacular Spider-Man kind of overrated.
And I find you tiresome.
That's my hot take. That's what I got for you. Don't burn yourself on my hot takes.
Oof. Spicy boy.
I know, right? Let's see here. We had like, it's like we have too many for me to possibly get through all of them. And then when I need, dude, imagine drinking water and some gross shit, fucking horseradish sauce
Pretty much.
to the JoJo stand thing. That's funny. Condiment King is OP in JoJo.
I mean, yeah, legit. Anyone can be OP in JoJo. You don't fucking realize just the absurdity of sort of the power. I'm trying to think of like a really good. Okay. There's one called the Rolling Stone, which the user has no control over, but it is like tied to destiny. So it will find you, and it will keep. Oh no! Okay, a different one. I can't remember the name of this one, but like the user has to kill themselves to activate it, and then once they kill themselves, it like locks on, and then it becomes a self-replicating devourer of like it will just like continuously eat and absorb mass, and there's no way to kill it. You could wipe it from existence, and it would come back. You just have to run and get it to attack something else, and the way they beat it is they drop it in the ocean, and it keeps trying to eat the ocean, and it's trapped in like waves, and then like it's so fucked because then the narrator starts saying like from now on this place became like a place where sailors would lose ships mysteriously and die, and like it's like what the fuck. The heroes just accidentally created this natural disaster point because they couldn't beat the enemy.
Oh, man. Yes, I'll Die says, what if Superman and Goku's space pods collided in space, killing them both instantly? Well, I mean, that's a bit
You wouldn't have
tragic.
this channel.
Yeah, right?
No, you know
okay.
what would happen there? Let me refute that, because you're obviously a fucking moron. Because if their space pods collapsed, baby Superman would catch baby Kakarot and would fly him to Earth just in time, saving them both, and then they'd grow up as brothers, and it would be dope. So fuck you, Negative Nancy. Superman saves the day.
Superman looks out the window, it's raining, decides, what the hell am I doing? I'm Superman, I should be saving the day. Superman saves the day. And Tom King writes a Superman comic.
I'm legit in tears, man. That's fantastic. He's just a genius.
Gianni Perez is giving me some praise here. Says, I actually quite like this design. He looks experienced, which could mean that he may not be a student and be a fighter or a teacher or something. I don't know anything to be said on the factions.
He's definitely his own thing. I'm really happy with how this is turning out.
Cut out there for a second.
I'm just saying I'm really happy with how this is turning out.
Let's see here. Star Wars X Doctor Who.
I had a cool idea. I don't think I'll ever make it into a video, but I did have a cool idea of Davros coming into contact with the Emperor. Because he wants to try and find the secrets of the Force, and then the Empire wants to try and find the secrets of time travel. So it like starts a war between the Daleks and the Empire, and like Davros eventually gets his hands on Darth Vader, and like he hangs him up, like just like so he's out the suit, like kind of how he is in Rogue One. It's like Davros just being able to like needle the knife in, but like I'm trying to like manipulate him, just like, I too am half a man. Your master doesn't understand me, like just like you. He doesn't know the rage. You could be so beautiful. And it's just like I must command the Emperor. He is quite good at making Daleks.
Oh, that's pretty fucking good.
And then you get the Doctor in the middle of it, trying to fucking stop these two sides from destroying the universe in the middle. Like that'd be a really cool story.
And Doctor, I think, works really well in Star Wars. Clever, figure it all kind of thing going for him, which is like, it's not missing in Star Wars, but there's no one that quite does it the way the Doctor does, you know? So I think that's got some man, more Spawn what ifs. What about Spawn and I mean, like, I'll fully so I'll talk about Spawn from just a visual standpoint all day. What about Spawn and Ghost Rider media? Yeah, that is a great comic book cover. I'd buy that just for the cover. I would not read the issue. I like fundamentally refuse to look at any of the interior. Buy that just for the Spawn and Ghost Rider on. It'd be fucking awesome. Even like Todd McFarlane will never work for Marvel again. He will die before he ever works for Marvel. I know this. But God, if you get Todd McFarlane and do a Spawn and Marvel crossover, and it's just a bunch of like he doesn't even do stories or anything. It's just a bunch of Todd McFarlane doing Spawn meets Marvel covers. I would buy every single one of them. Could you imagine the Spawn, Spider-Man, and Venom cover? Oh,
that'd be pretty dope. Because the man he still does live streams of where like he draws stuff, and he's still just as good as he ever was. Like he can draw Venom perfectly in like 5 seconds flat. I fucking, you've seen how long it's taken me to finish this. I already had the initial sketch layer done. This man can just like pop out a pitch perfect Venom in like a second. So yeah, I'm 100% would still love to see him do stuff like that. I think that's the way to go. I think him becoming kind of like an Alex Ross legacy artist would be a really, the way just as like majority covers would be the best career move for him. But he's too arrogant to think he should do that.
Yeah. Let's see here. We already answered the what if Doomsday was in Dragon Ball Z. I'm still trying to think of other cool villains from the DC universe to put in Dragon Ball. That would.
I think Mongol as a shonen villain could be quite cool, especially as the.
Yeah, I mean, you get a tournament arc with Mongol, right? Like. Oh.
So that could work quite well. I also thought the idea of what was it? The latest Bendis Superman kind of like reveal. I thought was like a really nice wrinkle to Mongol. But like he's got a son and Mongol kills him, and it's like, I am Mongol the 500th will now be as my father before me, like that kind of shit. I think it's a really cool idea of just turning Mongol into like this asexually reproducing bastion of hate. It's like a really cool layer to him. I think would work great in Dragon Ball, which is so much about like legacies and surpassing the fathers, and like Vegeta and his thing. Like I think Vegeta the 5th meeting Mongol the 500th could be a very cool conversation.
I guess I could see that. I just like the idea of. Do you remember seeing Mongol's sister in the comics?
No.
Oh god, it's just Mongol with tits. I swear to God, it is the most. Every second of it.
That's pretty great.
Amazo or Super Adaptoid in Dragon Ball. That works, like a power replicator. isn't a bad idea. I mean, that's basically Cell, but someone that can do it faster is kind of a cool idea for Dragon Ball. Let's see here. What if Bane was in Dragon Ball? Dragon Ball, just OG Dragon Ball. I mean, I guess he'd probably just be one of the people that gets like taken out of the World Martial Arts Tournament or one of the Red Ribbon. Because like you put like Bane and he's like this big, serious, strong, you know, fighter. That Goku like just wrecked so many of those. It's not even funny. Bane would at best be like a King Champa.
Pretty much. It's just he's not equipped to deal in that verse. Which is not a detriment. Again, not every character does that.
What if Cell was created in DC from the cells of the DC characters?
I mean, then you
That's
just get like a Mazer.
Yeah, but like with Cell in particular, with like the way he's like taking all the best aspects of them and not just like a robot kind of thing. He's got his own personality, his own motivations and stuff. I think that works a little bit better. I could see that. That's got some cool ideas to it.
I think he actually probably gets redeemed.
In
DC, they wouldn't kill him. And if he's got the cells of Wonder Woman and Superman in him, then he's going to have a lot more good... There's a lot less Vegetas in DC, let's just put it that way. So I think very much Sal would probably end up getting redeemed and becoming an interesting hero.
How do you guys think of a meme between Poison Ivy and thing? I think they could have something interesting dialogue written well. I'm going to tell you to go search Steven Sejic, Ivy and Swamp Thing, because he's got some really cool ideas. Really hope Isley gets approved and published and just kicks ass and takes names.
Pretty much just that. Check him out.
Yeah. What if the humans in Dragon Ball had bending Avatar instead of Ki?
I mean, it's just you just have a very different series though, and not much changes because they're still going to be fighting the same. It just means how they fight is a little different. I don't really know much to add to that, honestly. There's not a whole lot you can change if you fundamentally change how the series works like that, without just saying, well, now they all just use firebending, but the same thing applies.
How about Mr. Freeze in Dragon Ball? He could place Dr. Gero. That's not really his thing, though. Like, he could be like a cool fight to some degree, but like he's so slow by comparison. Like, if you need an ice villain for Dragon, you really want someone more like a Killer Frost. Because she's got like it's generated by her, and you could even argue it's like some kind of key ability at that point.
Even Captain Cold, because if he can keep up with the Flash, then he can keep up with anyone in Dragon Ball.
That's trickier than you're making it out to be, because it's usually because he just designs the perfect scenario where the Flash's speed doesn't matter.
Yeah, but
as opposed to like in a fight.
Yeah, but say if he did do that, like he's normally got like a field around him. That means if the Flash gets too close, it slows him down. And I think that would apply the same to the Dragon Ball characters, except they probably wouldn't get as affected by the cold. I mean, to be fair though, Goku does like kind of shiver a little bit sometimes, so maybe it'd be like Captain Cold low-key takes out Dragon Ball. You never know.
Yeah, I don't know, like I'm kind of leaning more to Killer Frost because I think she just fit a little bit better with the way she uses her powers. Like anyone with a gun, I mean, it's just like you take away the gun. Like that's
I do think again, if he's a Flash rogue, he's got more to it.
Which I mean, the thing is, like the Flash just fucking wrecked the rogues so many times by just taking their toys away, though. Like that is the story. Like 9 times out of 10,
the way the Flash wins is he just steals Cold's gun or Weather Wizard's wand or whatever. It just takes all Captain Boomerang's boomerangs away. Like, that is so many Flash stories, it's not even funny.
Yeah, but that's a lot of boomerangs, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of boomerangs.
There's a lot of boomerangs.
You know, I honestly think Captain Boomerang could shot Goku.
I mean, if he...
Because there's no way Goku understands the physics of boomerang.
Yeah, pretty much.
All he needs is the right boomerang, and Captain Boomerang just destroys Goku in one fell swoop.
Well, not one foul swoop. He has to wait a little bit for it to come back. 2 foul sweeps.
Yeah. Apocalypse in DC?
This was something that popped up in the Discord a while back, and I know there's some passion behind it. It would be interesting throwing mutants into DC, but the X-Men are kind of on their own in Marvel as is, so it'd probably be much the same. I think the biggest difference is they wouldn't be as persecuted, because the civilians of DC just aren't as fucking much of assholes as they are in Marvel. That's kind of one of the bigger differences, is that Superman actually does kind of inspire the populace, and you still get assholes, but like, people in Marvel, fucking like every single person on the street is like gonna kill their fucking neighbor next month. Like, they're just the worst. They're just pure scum. So, yeah, DC, I think, would be a much more... There would still be racial tensions, but it wouldn't be nearly... No one in DC is going to be, except for, like, Lex Luthor, is going to be making fucking Sentinels. That's how that's going to go. That's not going to happen. That's not going to get past in a universe where Wonder Woman's doing UN speeches. Marvel just gets that happening because the fucking Avengers are all fucking racist and don't help.
There's a lot of stuff like that. Like, do you remember like Captain America at the Avengers meeting? It's like, okay, is there anything else before we wrap up for the day? Blade, will someone help me with the vampires, please? There are so many. Captain America, no. Meeting adjourned.
Yeah, that's it, man. It's fucking...
Shit like that just gets me. Fucking sends me off. Not quite. The people in Marvel are hypocrites, says Zonin Blade 90. I mean, maybe.
I mean, they're assholes and hypocrites. Like, kind of... Those two things tend to have an overlap, man.
the fucking Venn diagram. All hypocrites are assholes. All assholes are hypocrites.
I mean... you'd be hard pressed to find something that wasn't.
Mm-hmm. What if Saiyans existed in the FMA timeline? What the fuck's the FMA timeline?
Full Metal Alchemist, does he mean?
Possibly.
But I haven't watched that, so I'm not super sure.
Yeah. Dr. Winchester says, what if Batman was in Dragon Ball? He absolutely stomps Tien and Yamcha and Krillin. Completely overpowers them. Batman unequivocally becomes the strongest human if Batman's able to learn Ki. No question. As far as can he keep up with the Saiyans, probably not. That seems to be a pretty hard ceiling at this point. But like, I don't know, maybe if you potential. It's a harder one, but nah, Batman instantly goes beyond and just learns Ki and completely stops. There's no question. He gets like a third eye and like learns how to just perfectly maintain the forearm technique that Tien used and all that shit. It's like, so Batman's always got 4 arms. What if the X-Men were in DC? Well, we kind of about that. Android 16 in DC. I don't know, he's just kind of a robot.
Yeah, there's not... I don't know where you go with that one, buddy.
I don't know. There's... the comments seem to be dying down a bit.
Well,
streaming for 2 hours, which is about what we like these to be.
well, I got the main colours on it done. I'm happy to call this a quits.
Alrighty. Everyone, thanks so much for coming out and asking questions, and thanks to everyone that did super chats and all that. It was really great interacting with you guys. We have so much fun doing these. This is a great way to keep content up on the channel that's nice and easy. We also really like doing them as art streams because it allows us to make stuff for future videos. So we're kind of two birds, one stone situation here.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you liked the design. Excited for you guys to find out the story behind it.